Alright guys, we are now in our finale segment, and our finale segment is about Pop Smoke. I feel like I've been talking about Pop Smoke and 50 Cent a lot lately, but we're going to go ahead and give an update on the whole situation of him. Now, there were 5 people connected in his murder, and all 5 of those people were arrested. So that is great news. But first, I want to talk about 50 Cent because he does tie back into this whole Pop Smoke thing and everything. But I just want to go back to his words of, angry black woman and everything because, that does come up later when we talk about Pop Smoke. But this was just hilarious and I had to mention this, guys. So I got this whole article from the Shade Room. So it says, a video of 50 Cent throwing a chair at a man during a verbal altercation last night surfaces. And this is what the caption of it says. It says, roommates, a video of a man who looks to be 50 Cent throwing a chair at someone during an altercation has surfaced according to TMZ_TV. The incident took place last night at the Edgewater Commons Mall in Edgewater, New Jersey. Apparently, 50 got into it with someone and exchanged words with them until things took a quick left and chairs began to fly. Law enforcement confirmed no arrests were made and no charges are being pursued at this time. A source close to 50 confirmed the man who was on the receiving end is allegedly the same man who went viral after confronting 50 outside of a movie theater last year. We'll see you up on this tea, roommates. So speaking of, angry, this angry black man, 50 Cent, was just over here throwing tables and chairs and stuff. But he has the audacity to sit here and come for black women for being angry. Boy, have the tables turned. Alright, guys, but I'm going to stop messing around, and I'm going to go ahead and get into this topic with Pop Smoke. So I originally found the article about the perpetrators that were found on the Jasmine brand, and I'm going to go ahead and read you guys everything. I also found it on the Shade Room as well. I think I'm going to go ahead and read their article first because, we're going to save that one. And then we're going to go to the first one. So the first one from the Jasmine brand says, 5 people were arrested on warrants in connection to the Pop Smoke's murder. It's unclear what the suspects are being charged with, but all 5 will be interviewed and then booked. So this is great, guys. As you guys know, Pop Smoke did pass away back in February. And, everybody was just completely shocked, and it was sad because he was shot and killed. And he was on the rise, he was definitely making moves for himself and, just very much an up-and-comer, which is why, his whole album ended up coming out the way that it did, because, he had passed away prematurely before he could finish it. So that's why we have the whole 50 Cent coming in and helping him with his album. Now, you guys can go and check out my videos where I reviewed the album and everything. So then you guys can get a more understanding of who Pop Smoke is and about the album. I will go ahead and link that video down below. But we're going to go ahead and jump into talking about what 50 Cent said, because he did actually come out and speak on this whole situation as well. Now, after, the Shade Room posted about Pop Smoke's perpetrators being arrested, he went ahead and said, what the F was the police waiting for? His album to drop too? R.I.P. Pop Smoke. And then someone responded to him being shady, and they said, who you throwing tables and chairs at? And then 50 responds and said, what are you talking about? I would never do a thing like that. This is what Trump is talking about, fake news. So he was clearly trolling there and being funny. But at the end of the day, you guys, I agree with 50. This man passed away back in February, and it is now July, and things haven't really been nipped in the bud yet. You know, even people like Nipsey Hussle, like that whole case hasn't even been completely closed yet, simply because, you know, things are being pushed back and everything. And it's like, I never really understand that with a lot of these cases and stuff. Like, why isn't it that things are nipped in the bud and handled immediately? Like, we don't want to constantly be reminded that these people that we really had deep connections with are gone, you know? So why is it that after this album dropped, almost a week later, here we go finding out who the perpetrators are? And that's completely crazy to me again, that it was 5 perpetrators, you know? Like, you know, I'm thinking that maybe it's like one person or maybe 2 people, but 5 people? That's absolutely insane, you know? They're finding a lot of information on things, and they did go ahead and interview those guys and get more information on those guys regarding as to why they did what they did. So I got the story from the Shade Room on why the perpetrators did what they did, and I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then we're going to go ahead and further talk about it. So the header says, perpetrators didn't know Pop Smoke, targeted artist after he posted address online by mistake. So let's go ahead and read the caption. It says, according to LA Times, it is believed that those allegedly responsible for the death of Pop Smoke targeted him after he inadvertently posted his address online. Although authorities said the assailants did not know the rapper personally, we believe that Pop Smoke posted his location on social media, and that is how they found him, Tippett said, according to LA Times. It was also reported that the crime started out as a home invasion robbery but turned deadly once inside. And then you can go ahead and read the rest of the article regarding this on the Shade Room's website. So here's my thoughts on this. I, for one, think that they are lying. I think they knew exactly who he was. The reason that I said that is that it started out as a home invasion robbery. I'm not exactly sure what his address was or what type of things they found out when he did leak his address by accident. And I put quotes around by accident because I kind of feel like this was done purposefully. Now, this is how I think that things was set up. I think that maybe he probably got into it with one of these guys. He probably told him, you know what, I'm not afraid of you. Here's my address. Come pull up. We can have a one-on-one. And the guy ends up bringing a bunch of people with him. That ends up turning into a deadly whole situation, and he ends up being robbed. I don't think that it initially started as a robbery. I think that it ended up being a robbery after they killed him. And I think that the person that ended up doing this, they were a bunch of cowards. That's a scenario that I feel may have ended up happening. I feel like they knew exactly who he was, and it was all due to jealousy. They seen what he had, and, you know, they wished they had a piece of what he had, and they did this all out of spite. I also think that, you know, him leaking his address, that was no mistake. If him leaking his address was a possible mistake, I still don't understand why the guys would just randomly pull up to someone's home and want to kill them. That's why that all does not make sense to me. I feel like in the end they had motives behind it, and everything happened in an according way. I do think that, you know, he probably was flaunting what he did have. Maybe that's probably another reason why they decided they wanted to kill him, because, you know, a lot of these rappers and, you know, influencers and stuff, they like to show off what they have, you know. They want to show you that. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed that podcast, please be sure to tune in every Monday through Friday on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, and Anchor for the rest of that podcast.